can murder a liberator, but you can't murder liberation. You can murder a revolutionary, but you can't murder revolution. And you can murder a freedom fighter, but you can't murder freedom.
You're tapped in, so let's get right to it. So there was an Asian guy, and this Asian guy in Chicago decided that he wanted to burn a cross at Chicago's Grant Park. Okay. He goes by the name of Merlin Liu, a 21-year-old former university student. He was arrested and charged with multiple felonies, including arson and commission of a hate crime. Now, everybody was wondering, okay, who did this? Who was so bold to bring a cross into a park, set it up against a tree, and light it on fire? I don't know if most suspected it was maybe a white supremacist, and or whether or not they were shocked to learn that it was an Asian supremacist functioning under white supremacy or racism. All right, so that was the shocker for most of us. This individual is caught. He was charged with multiple crimes, including arson and the commission of a hate crime. Now, I wonder how much time that carries, and let's hope that it carries a lot, because it looks or seems as though this individual doesn't want to be a part of society, and therefore you need to remove him and make sure he's gone for a very, very, very long time. You know, the arson in and of itself should carry about maybe 8 to 10 years. Who knows, depending on how they hit him with it. The hate crime, that may be more of a federal thing, and so we've yet to understand what type of time that carries if he's convicted. Okay, so let's keep that in mind, people. But anyway, yes, Lou admitted responsibility for the incident, but stated his motivation was not racially targeted. Instead, he claimed the burning cross, which had a red MAGA hat placed on top of it, was intended as a political protest against Donald Trump and Christian nationalists. Huh. Uh, 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 uh. You can't make this stuff up, people. Lou has since acknowledged that using a burning cross, a historical symbol of hatred, and the KKK, as well as white supremacist terror, was profoundly insensitive, to say the least. And that's an understatement. All right. But it goes on to say, however, community leaders and civil rights advocates condemned the act, noting that the devastating impact of the symbol remains regardless of the perpetrator's stated intent. All right. He has an upcoming court date and our trial. They're scheduling that. The formal statutes and legal definitions of hate crimes in Illinois, again, is yet to be understood or known how they're going to put this stuff on him, apply these charges to him, So that remains to be seen. Can't wait. And TAP will be sure to do a follow-up on that for sure. But as always, I have what I have. That's a clip for you guys. Let's get a look-see at this clip and get a picture, or try to gather an understanding of this Lou guy, Merlin Liu. He's 21 years of age and a former university student. When I read that, I initially thought that he had an issue with the University of Chicago or something, but to say that it evolved or surrounded, or it involved or was surrounded around Donald Trump and white Christian nationalists, or Christian nationalists, I said, okay, man, what's the game here? What's the game here? And the park, if I understood correctly, is a park a lot of blacks attend. So, that remains to be seen as well in terms of the type of demographics of traffic that goes in and out of that park. I'm sure everyone goes to it, but just the fact that he burned that cross in a park rather than, let's say, in front of a federal building, you know, on the federal courthouse steps, you know, that the FBI or the, you know, anywhere, you know, but apart, yeah, I don't believe it for a second that it was done in protest to Donald Trump and MAGA and, you know, excuse me, a Christian nationalist. You know, most of these Asians are just as racist, if not more, than their counterparts in terms of, you know, the white people. This thing, I think it speaks volumes, you know, and no matter how he tries to phrase it, again, I think it speaks to what it really speaks to, especially considering the climate we're in, dealing with blacks versus Asians, and you know, Asians taking offense to black women and men saying, okay, we're not going to spend our dollars with you anymore because, you know, we think it's imperative, it's very important for our own independence to spend our dollars within our communities and watch our businesses grow, you know, cater to our people, keep our money within our communities, you know, circulating, you know, have that retention you guys have. How they got anti-Asian out of that is beyond me, you know. When the fact of the matter is, these people, this demographic of Asians, of different Asian demographics, Korean, Chinese, Japanese, and Vietnamese, have been in our communities for decades. And in that time, none of these demographics of this Asian descent have contributed anything or have given back annually, you know, anything to the black community, which has sustained them, their livelihood, their lifestyles, their children's education, you know, them owning homes, things of that nature. There was no respect and appreciation applied to that service, you know. Of course, no one has to, you know, go out of their way, be super courteous, over courteous, or smile and kowtow every time someone walks into their store. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that just the fact of entering into the store, we get chaperoned around the store as much as we do being or is accused of stealing from the store. We know these stories all too well. We know all too well that Asians had very little love and respect as much as appreciation for black people. That's not a mystery to us, you know, and they seem to be more upset because blacks want to spend their money with each other rather than those who don't respect or appreciate them and who murder their children. How is that anti-Asian? You know, but that's what they're labeling it. So I do have a clip. Before I do, please like, share, follow, comment, and subscribe to Tap because you are tapped in. All right. We appreciate your participation and viewership with this channel. For each and every one of you who have hit that like button, that share button, we say thank you very much. We appreciate you truly. We appreciate even more those of you who come in and subscribe to this channel. That would mean a great deal to us. Okay. That being said, let's check this clip out because, like I said, man, I imagine this guy has something to say because, from what I understand, well, I don't know if he interviewed, but some of what took place will be described in this clip. Okay, so let's see what that says. Okay, and it's courtesy NBC Chicago.
It's been nearly a week since this burning cross showed up in Grant Park, a symbol a lot of people see tied to hate and to racism. Now we're hearing Chicago police have someone in custody, and that's just hours after NBC5 spoke with a man who admitted to setting that cross on fire.
Oh, wow.
Police are calling it arson, while the FBI is looking into whether this could be a hate crime. NBC5's Rose Schmidt is joining us here with what we know about the case now. Rose?
Well, Stefan, citing department policy, Chicago police say they don't release names of potential offenders until they've been charged. But from the...
His name is Merlin Liu.
start, they only released the image of one person of interest. Now, 21-year-old MERLIN Liu, a Naperville native who currently lives on Chicago's near west side, admitted to NBC5 that he is responsible.
In the matter of the police, I assumed that they would have just been banging on my door after a few hours, few days, whatever. I thought they would just be banging
especially
on my door.
after those pictures.
Yeah, exactly.
Despite his photo appearing on the Chicago police
He seems so cavalier, like unconcerned about it, you know?
flyers, MERLIN Liu says no one recognized him as the man who built a cross in Grant Park last week, then set it ablaze. In an exclusive interview with NBC5 investigative reporter Chuck Gowdy, Liu says he put a red hat on top of the cross as a way to protest the Trump administration.
While it might be kind of scary that the police are looking for me, that type of fear is nowhere near the type of fear that I feel if this country were to go to ruin because of what I'm protesting against.
Should you have done it some other way?
Yeah, probably. I agree. As I've said earlier, I failed in delivering my message, but I believe that right now I'm trying my best to clarify the confusion, and yeah, I don't regret what I did.
Liu graduated from Nico Valley High School in Naperville. While he told NBC5 he's a senior at University of Illinois Chicago, the university has since clarified he has not been enrolled since the fall of 2025. UIC officials are aware of the criminal investigation.
Was it a hate crime?
No, for sure not. In no way possible was that a hate crime. I do understand why it was interpreted that way, and I apologize for that, but no, the intent was not there.
Mayor Brandon Johnson says the symbol.
And it's always after the fact that they apologize for some stuff, you know, that, damn, had you thought about it, you wouldn't have done it. You wouldn't need to apologize. That's what we see a lot of today. A lot of apologies for something that could have been avoided altogether.
Had a devastating impact on the city.
I fully expect that the investigation will unfold, and whatever consequences that come out of this investigation, I hope it matches the level of not just discomfort, but pain that it caused.
And in the hours since we've learned police made an arrest, we have reached out to Liu and his parents for comment, but we have not heard back. The Cook County State's Attorney's Office referred us to the Chicago Police Department. Stephen, back to you.
Okay.
All right. So they caught this individual, and he says, hey, it wasn't racial, you know, as well. He does not regret doing it. So I'm just trying to understand his protest. The Trump hat MAGA, or there's a representation of Trump and all his supporters and followers. Then there's a cross, and that I don't understand why he would burn the cross if he's protesting Christian nationalist, you know. I don't know. This is a hard one, but for me, more than anything, I think that, yeah, it probably more than likely had something to do with taking a shot, you know, at us. You know, the fire couldn't tell if there was a hat on the ground and burned as a result of being attached or applied to the hat. In any respect, the cross in and of itself is one of those symbols, burning, that I think even immigrants understand has a negative connotation to Black people here in the United States. I'm pretty sure of that. So to say, oh, I wasn't thinking about it and I apologize if I offended anyone, that's the same demeanor and attitude, the same lip service we've gotten, especially in case of what's in light of what's been happening recently with our young Black brothers. It's always an apology after the fact. And again, what's really ironic about the apology is that, you know, well, I don't know if you call it ironic, but an apology would never have been needed or have to been extended had you just, you know, not done that. And I'm pretty sure, well, he admitted he knew it was wrong. He did it anyway, and then as a result, you apologize. And it doesn't make much sense to me, but that's what it is. Most of these young immigrant or children of immigrants, they tend to be in line or want to align themselves in some aspects of the Black culture, some, not all. And yet, at the same time, they also hold with them family traditions and customs, family beliefs. We think here at TAP that most Asian families, immigrant especially, who are residing in this country, um, maintain households that harbor and festers racial hate for Blacks. We think that to be the truth, not only that, but we also think that in those same communities, racism for Blacks or hatred towards Black is abound. That's what we think. We don't think that this is a mistake, no more than we think that Rick Chow, accidentally killed, Cyrus. It's no more mistake, or this mindless, senseless thing that Merlin Lou did about burning the cross. We think that all this stuff, that cross burning, it applied to us. It applied to Black people, and that is we say that's based on that because of what the climate is today and has been for almost the last 2 weeks now. So I would say here first, apology not accepted. Again, this is a college student. Haven't been to school since last year, but this is a college student. This is a student that's been around other demographics, and I'm like I say, I'm willing to wager around Blacks. Some things you just know not to do. In the interaction with Blacks, you would always find out what those things are, so that you won't find yourself, FAFO and then hadn't apologized after the fact. So that being said, again, take into account how other Asians are going to the social media airwaves, so to speak. They have now the influencers coming up and, apologizing for not just Rick Chow, but John Da Su or whatever her name is, the Asian lady who murdered Natasha Harlings in Los Angeles. There seems to be this thing with them, this propensity to commit acts of assault, verbal assault, physical assault and murder upon our people, and then want to apologize after the fact. We see through that. We see through that. And again, to get your message across, most of you go and hire content influencers, things of that nature. We've seen just a plethora of them, so many of them all over social media in the last 4 days, 5 days. We hate to tell you guys this, but our movement's not going to change. The square we're standing on, we're not going to move from that square, And if there was any genuine love, respect, and appreciation of the Black community, woman, child, and man, then you would gracefully bow out and go about your business somewhere else, And if not, then we say, hey, you don't have to leave, but you can't stay here. All right. That's it for that. Let me know what you guys think in terms of this Merlin Lou, excuse me, and his excuse, his reason for burning the cross inside of Grant Park. I don't understand what type of protest that was. To just lay a cross up against a tree and light it on fire. If you have an issue with the federal government or the president of the United States, there are so many other locations in Chicago that you could have planted that, laid that cross up against and lit it aflame, lit it afire. But yeah, I think it's just all more the same, Again, just you have any thoughts on this, whether you're for it or against it, Put it in the comments and I will answer you, okay? Until next time, people, take care of yourselves and each other.
You can murder a liberator, but you can't murder liberation. You can murder a revolutionary, but you can't murder revolution. And you can murder a freedom fighter,